Hello, my name is Debbie Bell, and on behalf of the Franklin County Health Department, I'd like to welcome you to Working on Wellness. Today, we're in the studio, and joining me is Debbie Brown, the race coordinator for the Proactive 5K, and Jim Wallace with the Kentucky Historical Society Foundation. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you,
Really appreciate
Debbie.
the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Over the last few years, our community has really come to embrace 5Ks and 3Ks and mini marathons and fun runs and so forth. And it's been really, really inspiring to see the number of people that have become excited about it and participated in these local runs. Many of our schools are even hosting their own fun runs or participating as a system in many of these races. And I think what's so terrific about this is, you know, these runs and this physical activity, it feeds in directly to these physical activity recommendations that are put out for the different age groups by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So I'm glad you all could join me today so that we could talk about some of the upcoming opportunities for our race enthusiasts, our runners, and so forth here in the community. So Debbie, I think we're going to start with you.
Okay.
And of course, you are the race coordinator for the Proactive 5K. And I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about the Proactive 5K, what got it started in the first place, and how many years you've been at that.
Okay. Well, we started in 2007, which was the same year as the first longest day of play, and it was actually the longest day of play meeting that they had in January of that year, saying, what can your business do to try to encourage people to get out and be more active? And I think the whole scope was a one-night thing where people came and did things that evening, but as I do many times, go overboard. But I thought, why don't we start a race where we give people a training program that they could begin on the longest day of play, and then 3 months later, which is about the amount of time it takes to train for a 5K race, have a 5K race. And not only just have a race where we encourage runners to come and participate, but we encourage new people to come on board and walkers to come on board. So we decided to not only give awards for the overall runners, fastest runners, but for the first timers who participated. So we started out with about 200 registrants that year, and this is our 9th year. The last 3 years we've had over 1,000 participants each year, so it's grown significantly, and the number of first timers has stayed pretty steady, or it's increased, and it hasn't dropped significantly. So we're reaching more and more people. You know, you're only a first timer one time. So I feel good about that new people are getting involved. I think we also tried to emphasize that this is a run walk. You don't have to be a racer to participate. You can walk the race, and walking is just as good as running for the physical benefits, health benefits of it. So I think we've gotten that message out. Our first year we had hardly any children participate, so the second year and there on out we created a school challenge where we invited the schools to participate at a reduced cost and then gave a cash award to the top 3 schools that had the most participants crossing the finish line. So that's our race. We also try to do educational things. We've had 2 running seminars. We started out having lunch and learns, but now we've condensed it to 2 different morning sessions. So those have gone pretty well. We have training programs. We've got a beginner's training booklet that it come out that new people can read and get information. We've got an advanced runners booklet, which we've been doing this 4 or 5 years, and each year I try to do a different health topic. So each week there's a different top tip on healthier living. So last year it was all on posture. This year it's how to increase happiness.
Wow.
Which happier people are healthier. And you would think, well, if you're healthy, you're going to be happier, which is true, but actually there's not that much correlation between good health and happiness. But there is a correlation between happy people being healthier. So I learned a lot just doing the tips. So
That's terrific.
yeah.
Now, with the Proactive 5K, you were talking, it began in the fall, so you had that summer prep time. Now,
Right.
this year, it's a little bit earlier. Can you tell us the date for this year's
Yes,
race?
this year's date is April 17th. We moved it up because we're a part of the Frankfort Trifecta, which is a series of 3 races. Good Shepherd's Run for the Gold 3K, which is about 1.8 miles, was just recently, and they had 805 people sign up for it. So they had a great crowd. They had beautiful weather.
It was beautiful,
It was
wasn't
a
it?
very, very nice night. Lots of fun. Irish music playing. There was an Irish blessing before the race started, and it was a good time. It's a good time. So our race is the second race, and it's a 5K. The third race is a 10K. So we wanted to increase the amount of time between the 5K and 10K to 2 months so that people had adequate time to train properly for the longer distance. So April 17th, it's a Friday night, starts at 6:30.
Okay. Now, what will be different this year? Every year you do something great with it.
Well, we have a couple of things. One, we've got a business wellness challenge, which I just mailed out 40 of these to 4 different businesses and companies in town that are larger employers, hoping that there's a coupon code on the flyer. They'll be able to sign up at a reduced cost, and I'm just hoping to get more people involved that way. The second thing that's different, I've mentioned the school challenge, and in the past the school challenge has been limited to faculty, staff, and students from the school. And every year parents say, well, can we sign up? And coaches say, can we sign up? And my retired teachers. So this year we just decided, well, why not? Why not let people who support individual schools but aren't tied in as a student or faculty member be a part of that team? So anyone who signs up for a particular school will count for that school team and go toward so the numbers we hope will increase. The number of people and number of families coming in to participate will, I hope that'll increase that. We decided also this year you had to be a school student to get the $10 rate for signing up. We just decided all children 17 and under, whether they're in school or not, whether they're with a participating school or not, get to sign up for $10.
That's great.
So, especially if you're a family, I have 5 children, and I can't get them all to run a race with me, but if I did, it'd be very expensive at the cost of many of the races. So we hope that is a price break for families. Another new award we have this year is we're co-sponsoring with Cool Comfort Body and Soul shoe store. It's called the Cool Kids School Award, and it will be we'll recognize the Cool Kids School before the race actually starts, and the winner will be the school that has the highest percentage of their students participating. So this means that you don't have to have the highest number, just the highest percentage. So some of the smaller schools didn't participate because they said, well, there's no way we can compete against a school that has 500 students. Well, now they can because of that. So they'll get a $100 cash award. And then Cool Comfort is going to give every student who's at the race that night associated with that school, this is a multifunctional headwear tube. And you can wear these 100 different ways, but they're great for both wintertime. These are all mine. I love them. You can wear them to keep your neck warm. You can pull them up over your face to stay warm. You can wear them as a headband. You can make them a ponytail holder. They're multifunctional.
Sure.
So Cool Comfort is very generous and their willingness to provide prizes that night for the kids. So I'm excited about that, and hope the schools will be excited about it also. We also came up with a training program for the kids that it's many of the schools started running groups, but our race this year is the week after spring break, and they said, well, that's going to be problematic because we usually start after spring break and the weather's iffy before. So we've got this ABC calendar that we sent to all the schools to give to the kids. And so there's a regular training on each page, but there's also the student can choose to do something. This is more for elementary age kids. An exercise or physical activity that's under A, B, or C, and just gives them something fun, something that hopefully will get not just the kids moving, but their parents involved with them too. A couple of them say, ask your mom what her favorite song is and or radio station and turn it on and dance to it. Or during commercials while you're watching TV, stand up and do 50 jumping jacks or just things like that. So
Sure.
those are our new things this year, besides
That's
the new
terrific.
date. So.
Well, that's definitely terrific. And again, I think one of my favorite things about your program is there's something for everybody.
Well, I hope so.
All
We
different
try.
activity levels and abilities and so forth. So that's definitely something I would have liked to have had too during those snow days at home when you're stuck in that house. Now, Jim, you're also involved in another upcoming race, a mini marathon,
Right.
I believe. If you could tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we are the new kids on the block as far as sponsoring races. The Kentucky Historical Society is downtown at the Thomas D. Clark Center. And back last spring, we started talking about doing a half marathon, which is a 13.1 mile race. And Debbie, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've ever had a race of that length in Frankfort. So we reached out to the Frankfort trifecta folks, Debbie, Cool Comfort, the Frankfort Striders, the running community here in Frankfort, and we said, would you guys be interested and be supportive of trying to put together a half marathon as a charitable race to raise money for the education programs of the Kentucky Historical Society? And so we began talking about it, and there was a lot of interest in doing that. And it's a little bit of a unique proposition. You don't usually think of history necessarily associated with an athletic event. So we have a unique theme that the title of the race is the Kentucky History Half Marathon. And I brought one of the brochures here. And on the date of it is Saturday, October the 3rd. And 13.1 miles is a long way to run. So not everybody is going to be up for that. We're going to offer 2 other races that same day that take portions of the course. So if you say, well, I want to do a 5K, you can do it that day on a portion of the course, or a 10K. And it's a really unique course, and I think it speaks to the whole spirit of the running community here in Frankfort. It starts downtown at the Thomas D. Clark Center, and it'll take you through downtown and up to the Capitol, much like many of our 5Ks and 10Ks do. And when you go around the Capitol and come back toward North Frankfort, instead of going downtown, you get the pleasure and the opportunity of running up East Main.
Wow.
And when you crest East Main,
Little hill.
which will give you a tremendous sense of accomplishment when you get to the top of that,
Sure.
you will be able to turn right and run into the Frankfort Cemetery. And if you remember, our theme is the Kentucky History Half Marathon. One of the most historic places in Kentucky as a whole, not just Frankfort, is our Frankfort Cemetery. And the board of the cemetery and the staff were very supportive of allowing the race to go through the cemetery, because our intent is to lift up and honor the exemplary Kentuckians who are interred there in the spirit of their accomplishments. So we have a portion of the race to the cemetery called the Mile of Remembrance, which is basically for all of us to stop and reflect upon what Kentucky would be like without the accomplishments and the sacrifices of the generations of Kentuckians who have come before us. So you'll run that Mile of Remembrance in absolute silence and cherishing and honoring our ancestors. You come out of the cemetery, you go back downtown, and you go right past Liberty Hall Historic Site and go out onto the Riverview Walk there, past the Ward Oates Amphitheater and out Wilkeson, around behind Buffalo Trace, and then you flip around and come back the River Walk and come back downtown and finish. So our goal is to get you past as many historic sites and attractions as possible to celebrate Kentucky's story. We're really hoping for 700 to up to 1,000 runners to all 3 races for the first year. And so we've got a lot of partners. Thank goodness for the running community here and Cool Comfort and the Striders, the Frankfort Cemetery folks, but the business community here has been really interested in this. And I think it's the distance and the theme and the fact that it's brand new. But Kentucky Employees Credit Union is our title sponsor. Jackson Construction is our presenting sponsor. The Frankfort City Parks have stepped up in a big way and are providing in-kind support at the level of thousands of dollars worth of help. Touchstone Energy Cooperatives is sponsoring all of our hydration stations. C. Michael Davenport, who everybody knows here in town, his Chapel Charities Foundation is underwriting the Mile of Remembrance, because Mike is all about honoring our ancestors and our Kentucky and American heritage. Capital Cellars is providing discount coupons for turkey sandwiches. The Lexington Herald Leader is doing $5,000 worth of printing. WTVQ is our TV sponsor, and it just goes on and on. We're working with Joy Jeffries at the Tourism Convention Commission, and the Capitol Plaza Hotel has given us an incredible rate. I mean, everybody seems to be really into this, and we're so excited about it. So October the 3rd, put your running shoes on, because we're going to lift up who we are as Kentuckians and get to see some sections of the city like the Frankfort Cemetery that you don't typically see on a run course.
Sure.
It's going to be a great event. Very excited about it.
It definitely sounds like it, both educational, and I'm just sitting here thinking about that time of year, the beauty of that run. It's going to be...
It's going to be very nice.
That's actually going to be something incredible as well. Now, Jim, on that same note, with those different levels or different opportunities for racing length, again, that's making it available, to more people.
Right.
Generally, if someone that's a beginner were to see a mini marathon, and they would, oh goodness gracious,
a little intimidating.
Yeah, but to see those others, and I'm guessing that in order to prepare for this, they could jump on board with the trifecta. There's so many opportunities out there to, get those racing shoes on and prepare your body,
And the trifecta being in the spring and early summer is a nice lead up. And then the Frankfort Striders and Cool Comfort are offering a special series of training runs. I think it's pretty much the second Saturday of each month, beginning in June, though I think that one might be the first one might be a Sunday. They will actually, you can meet with a group of folks down at the History Center around 7:30 in the morning, and they will run the course. There's no cost for that. It's just to introduce you to the course and sort of get you to train up. And I would strongly advise you to run as many pieces of the Frankfort Trifecta as possible, and join the Frankfort Striders. They have all kinds of couch to 5K programs. They're doing group runs on a regular basis every week, and on Saturdays they do yoga. They do all kinds of stuff to sort of help build you up. So if you decide you wanted to do our thing in the fall, October 3rd, you could start now and begin to get yourself worked up to the 13.1 or a 10K or whatever you decide you want to do.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a perfect amount of time between the end of the trifecta and the half marathon to train for that distance, even if you've not been running in the past. So if you did the trifecta, you'd be set to go with increasing your distance a little bit every week, and then resting and increasing a little bit more, resting, and you'd be set to go.
Now there are people who are at the advanced, you might say fanatical end of the spectrum, who run quite a bit. And so one of the things we did to attract them, we are partnering with two other signature races in Kentucky. There's one down in Renfro Valley called the Renfro Valley Rock and Run, and that's at about mid-November. There's another in Bowling Green called the BG 26.2/13.1. And so if you sign up to do those two races and our race, which is over a 6-week period of time, ours is the first one, then the Bowling Green one, and then the Renfro one in mid-November, you will get a fourth medal called the Kentucky Mad Halfers, HALF-ERS, because you have to be sort of nuts to run essentially 40 miles over 6 weeks.
Sure.
And so the partnerships and the friendships that have come out of working on this project locally and now statewide have just been phenomenal, So if you're a newbie or a seasoned veteran or just a little bit insane and want to push yourself the extra, we've got ways to engage with you. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, including everyone throughout the community or state, for that matter.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited because you don't typically think of history in association with an athletic event. And so we're really hoping to introduce a younger professional audience to the Kentucky Historical Society so they can experience our family programs and museums and library as a consequence of getting to know us through the race. So the race is just sort of a point of entry to get engaged with your heritage and with the Historical Society, and to raise some money for all of our youth programs. So,
of course.
we think it's a strategy that might bring a whole new group of people to our doorstep.
And usually for half marathons and full marathons, probably about 35% of your participants come from out of state, and they plan their travels and they bring their family, and the family that's not the family members who aren't running are out touring and seeing different things in your city, and the racers are racing.
Well, in the age demographic, and I was checking on our online registration application today, we've got runners as young as 6 doing the 5K and as old as 69 doing the half marathon. So it's an incredible spectrum of people. We have 5 different states represented so far. So, I mean, that bears out what you were just saying. So I think it's good for Frankfort. The races don't compete with each other, they build on each other, and they bring more people in. And those folks, some of them are going to spend the night, they're going to spend money here, they're going to get to know Frankfort, and they'll come back and shop and, invest in our community, which I think is a good thing too.
Most definitely. Now, if there were to be a business out there watching that was interested in coming on as a sponsor, is that opportunity still available?
Oh gosh, yes,
for them?
Absolutely. Okay. And we're going business by business downtown and just inviting whatever level of interest and investment dictates. As I said with Capital Sellers, it's a coupon that will hopefully drive traffic to Rachel Peak's business there, and they'll redeem their coupon, but they'll probably buy other products. Some are actually would like their name on the back of the T-shirt. There's cash sponsorships, but we're looking for in-kind support. Coffee and donuts for our volunteers. Food products for runners love to eat, and after they're done with the race, they want to pig out. So
they've earned it.
Yeah, they've earned it. They've earned it. So. I'm hoping to get Crank and Boom to come. I've talked to the owner there, and so, man, I would love nothing better than either chocolate milk or ice cream after a race. So anyway, we'd love to, any business in town that feels like, this might be a way to promote our particular business to this audience, we'd love to talk to them. I'm sure you guys would too.
Always, definitely.
Always.
Now, Debbie, with your race just right on our heels, it'll be April 17th before we know it. Is there any additional support that is needed from the community, or if anyone is interested in volunteering or anything of that nature, who should they contact?
I'm glad you brought that up. Our race benefits United Way of Franklin County, and We Want to Play. They're both nonprofits, as you know. We Want to Play helps to offset costs for low-income students to play high school sports. They are responsible for their work on our race is getting volunteers for race night. And I think last year we had 153 volunteers. One thing that we've always tried to do is and I got this idea from running in marathons and half marathons where in larger cities where they have cheer teams stationed sometimes all the way throughout the 13 or 26 miles, or at least at key points. So it can be kind of lonely if you're running and nobody's around you and it's awfully quiet and your body's aching. So we try to have cheer teams at every intersection throughout the race. And so we could, volunteers, anyone who's interested in coming out and watching and cheering on the kids and the adults and the walkers and the runners, can contact the United Way office or David and Rob Hecker from We Want to Play, or they can contact me and I'll put them in touch with the right people.
Okay.
So yes, absolutely. We'll start recruiting our volunteers about 3 weeks before the race and up until race week, we're still recruiting usually. So, but one volunteer told me that came from Lexington said it was the most fun she'd ever had in 2 hours of working, and she would gladly come back year after year. So it is a lot of fun to watch everybody run and participate.
Terrific. Well, you all, I'm excited for both of these, and I'm grateful that you all have come forward to share this information with our community. And if you will, just quickly, if you'll let us know how we can contact the both of you if they're interested in sponsoring or volunteering for either.
Sure.
I'll let you go, Debbie.
Okay. My phone number is 320-9168. You can contact Proactive Therapy here in Frankfort also. They're in the telephone book. The number there is 223-7403. And if I'm not there, they can tell you how to reach me.
Okay, Jim?
Probably the quickest way, if you wanted to sign up to run or to volunteer, is go to the website, which is www.kyhistoryhalf, kyhistoryhalf.com. And if somebody wanted to call, they could call the Kentucky Historical Society, and the main number is 502-564-1792. You could ask for Jim Wallace, or you could ask for Stephen Klatos. Mm-hmm. We also are looking for volunteers, and we estimate we'll need probably about 150 people.
Okay.
So that might be the easiest way, is the website or calling the Historical Society.
Very good. Well, you all, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Debbie.
your time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in either of these races in any format, please make sure you contact these fine people. We hope that you'll tune in to Working on Wellness again next time. As always, if you have a topic that you'd like to see us discuss on the program, please reach out to us by email at www.fchd.com. Thank you.